game it's going to be that Akon. Second game it's going to be Flame.
Yeah, we are into Champ Select here as well. LGD, the blue team for the first game. IG, the red team here. LGD banned out. Fizz is their first one. And Rek'Sai is the first ban for Invictus Gaming. There's Cassidy as well for LGD. Things underway pretty quickly here.
Yeah, so Fizz is still going to be very high on that ban list because we're still at patch 4.21, so haven't seen the 5.2 changes come out. So that Assassin flavor in the mid lane is going to be very powerful there. A lot of respect going on to Rookie right here, who had a great start to the season and like a lot of his teammates, has been struggling a little bit in the last few games.
Yeah, we'll see as Lissandra gets banned out there for IG as well. There's Lee Sin banned out by LGD. And Invictus Gaming going to get one more ban here as well. And it's going to be Jarvan, actually. Very strong last ban.
Yeah, the two very strong jungle pressure champions have been banned out here, but there's a lot of champions available for first pick. Of course, Gnar has to be talked about. Seen some very Titanic Gnar performance so far, but it's actually going to be the insta-lock on the Xerath coming out for Akon.
Yeah, and Wayless, we talked about him. Fantastic mid lane player. Rookie, no slouch himself, although he's been slumping a bit recently. If there's one champion you'd think of when you think of Wales, it might be this Xerath. In fact, he's almost the icon, the mascot of the LPL mid lane.
Yeah, he absolutely has been picked up so much. Him and Azir have been the two staple mid lane pickups here. And although Azir's not on the ban list right now, it's not a favorable matchup for Azir, just because we've talked about it earlier today. He will struggle in that kind of against the very long range Xerath. He'll be able to farm with impunity and then have all that late game power right there. So maybe it's a blocker pick. It's saying, all right, I know you play Azir, Rookie. You can pick it into a bad matchup, or you can really commit to an assassin. And maybe that's the way that we'll see from Rookie.
Yeah, maybe as IG go with their first two picks. Janna, very powerful support, and Imp is going to go ahead and get Sivir. Champion we've seen him play a lot, actually. It's quite a lot of success in the LPL.
Yeah, so Kid's got Sivir right here. It's been kind of the Corki show for Kid. When he's looked great, it's been on that Corki. It's been about mid-game power spikes. Very similar flavor for the Sivir, of course, very fantastically strong in the mid-game. Suggests to me we're going to see the likes of Aurelia and those gap-closed champions coming out to really feed off the on the hunt. But on the LGD side, some more picks have come in, and we see some assassination flavor coming out of the jungle.
Yeah, we've started seeing a bit more of this as well. That's Rumble, a very big Akon champion, and Flame's been playing it a lot as well. But Vi is slowly creeping up in a region full of really good AD carry players. Some junglers are just like, you know what, I just want to ultimate you.
It's not the first Vi, of course. We saw Vi coming out from Kakao indeed, so it is Vi against Kakao. Kakao tried to shut down that Crystal Draven last week and just did not have the success. Definitely a game you should go back and watch if you have the VODs available there. But a lot of assassination potential coming down there. Akon's Rumble, though, cannot be overstated. This is a person intertwined with that champion through metas, has always had it banned against him, whether Rumble was Flavor of the Month or not. And with Rumble at the power level he's at right now, Akon's Rumble is something to be feared.
It really is, but IG have picked up Azir for themselves, so Rookie will pick himself into that mid lane matchup, and Pokemon has probably his most consistent champion in Maokai for his top lane, and LGD going to consider their last few picks as well. I think Imp might be the only LPL player to pick up this champion, and Kalista Leona is the LGD bottom lane.
We've seen a lot of Kalista in other scenes here, so it's nice to see it again poking its head in the LPL. Such an untapped champion in terms of potential. You look down this IG side, they do have a very strong initiating tank in Maokai, who is very good against Kalista, but if she's able to free, especially if she picks up the attack speed, is able to get past that Maokai, if they can bust that tank, can have a lot of power in the late game.
And Kakao now considering his last pick as well. Don't have a jungler yet unless they want to go for Maokai. And this is something that Kakao's been doing a little bit. Has not found success from him, but Kakao is struggling as far as his team and his performance personally is going as well. And he's going to go back to a bit more of the old school Kakao style. No, he tricked me. It is Nunu as the last pick.
Yeah, I know Spawn would have been super excited to see the Kakao Nocturne, a champion really associated with Kakao, but it's going to be the Nunu, which has found so much success for Clear Love and for other junglers in the LPL. The Nunu's been a standout pick. And Vi, she's a good skirmish jungler, but she doesn't deal so well when she falls behind in levels, when she doesn't have that tanky stats to complement her point-and-click engage right here. So it's going to be Kakao, for once, not going to be the one to try and go for the aggressive ganking path, and more going to be focused around closing down that Vi pressure.
Yeah, when we talk about Nunu kind of being not really a ganker, but an anti-ganker. He keeps control of your jungle. He keeps tabs on it well as well, so he's very good at feeding information to your team. And, you know, you can speed up carries. We've seen, I think, Jinx Nunu at some point played by EDG. You can get there aggressive with the Blood Boil, but even in this case, you know, they've got Sivir for some speed up. Blood Boil supplements a little bit of that. And cutely as well, Azir's actually not too bad with the Blood Boil.
And, you know, when we've seen the Nunu in the jungle, we see the double Sightstone come out. We know that it's going to be an overwatered jungle for LGD. And kind of the cute thing there is that if you know which lane Vi is going to be ganking, with that Assault and Battery, the point-and-click engage, it really commits you. It's a bit like Maokai's Twisted Advance. You're committed to going in whatever the case. So if you know what's going to happen, you can bait Vi to overextend and then get her under a turret or have the counter gank set up. So if they're really smart with the counter ganking here, and look, definitely Kakal's a jungler that can pull that off, it could be an advantage for IG.
Well, we'll see what happens, guys. We're going to get into the next game. Welcome back, everyone. LGD versus IG, our third match of the day here. Week 4, day 1. It's been one hell of a day of LPL, as it always is. And now the LGD on the blue side looking to pick up more points, continue their win streak, actually. They've been looking very good, and IG would really love to get out of the slump that they've found themselves in.
Yeah, LGD are very, very much sniffing around the top places right here. EDG are in the prime position to be able to take that first spot, having 3 matches this weekend. But LGD, they're staying around there, they're sniffing around. They're going to be third or second, you'd have to think, after their match day here, unless IG can really rain on their parade.
Yeah, and IG would love to pick up a few more points and spring themselves closer to the top 5 as well. And just as we look around here, looks like both teams are going to spread out fairly defensively for level 1. Rookie has been doing something a little bit different there in the mid lane with his summoner spell. I think I've seen this once before in the LPL, but Cleanse is actually his summoner spell choice.
It's actually been seeing some use in the LCS as well. A lot of mid laners have shied away from Cleanse just because it's a purely defensive spell. You can't really use it to bait like Barrier, for example, which is very similar, or Heal. It's purely for removing the CC there. So it's to ensure that you can have that free ability as the Azir right there. I guess it makes sense because Rookie's very aggressive in his positioning. When we see Azir, we've seen kind of 2 flavors. We've seen the more damage-focused Azir with maybe the Abyssal Scepter or just straight into the Death Cap second, or the Zhonya's Azir, which is very much Rookie's item pickup of choice. He wants to get in the middle of a team fight, activate that cleanse if he needs to, and get the perfect Emperor's Divide in right there, and then use the stasis to provide it. Of course, there's always the potential when you go in so aggressive, when you have that aggressive mindset, you could get exploded before you can even pop that Zhonya. So having the cleanse as a backup, okay, in lane he won't have quite the same defensive or offensive option, but he has a very solid team fight tool in Cleanse.
And the other person that did it as well, if I recall correctly, Cool's Cassiopeia was the last Cleanse wielder in the LPL, have it in their mid lane, which makes quite a bit more sense with how much movement Cassiopeia needs to just deal persistent damage. Is there maybe a bit of that going on with Azir as well?
Well, the way I look at it is, let's say a Xerath took Cleanse, I'd kind of be surprised because Xerath does so much damage from a long range and shouldn't really be in a prime position in a team fight where he'll need to cleanse a stun. If he needs to cleanse a stun, if he's CC'd first, Xerath's missed position. But when you have a champion who needs aggressive positioning like Cassiopeia, like Azir, who have so much consistent damage coming out from their twin fangs and the spears of their soldiers effectively, I do like the cleanser just because if you're about consistent damage, anything to stop yourself being CC'd is so important.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, Rookie's going to need something here. He's played decently, but never really been the same massive carry that he's looked like in the first initial games that they played. So we'll see if Kakao and Rookie, that KT Arrow synergy can come back here. Because in the first 6 games they played, they looked almost unbeatable.
Yep, 6 wins, 6 losses. Now we'll look very closely at these next 6 games to see whether the veteran nature of the team, the smart and cooler heads can prevail, or whether it's a downward trend for IG.
Well, LGD are looking on the up and up as well, so we'll have to see. 3 points is what both of these teams would love in this best of 2. And, of course, it all starts here with Game 1, so people still spreading out here. Just going to check those entrances. Lots of trinket wards around the river, and it seems like both jungles are going to start in fairly standard place here on the same side. On the left of their jungles.
So Kid has gotten to bot lane very fast here. It looks like they're looking for a 2v2 lane. They do not want the lane swap right here, which makes sense to some degree. Imp and Kalista in particular does struggle in the early game in a 2v2 laning phase against Sivir, but over the course of the laning phase will eventually accelerate in power. So of course I'd imagine LGD would want to start that lane matchup with some sort of advantage. Maybe they'll get that from the Krugs though, as they're going to start with that neutral cramp.
Yeah, Imp and PYL are going to walk over here, and we didn't quite touch on this. Again, it's been definitely the Whaler show for LGD in the last few matches, but Imp especially has looked great, but that is all full credit to PYL as well. His support, in fact, them together as a duo have looked like one of the best in the LPL.
I guess the last time we saw Imp pull out the Kalista, he wasn't the main factor in the win. Like, we were kind of looking at that game to say, okay, Kalista in competitive play, Kalista in the LPL, what can we expect? We didn't really get too much information out right there. It felt like Imp's damage was almost supplementary, so I kind of want to see what happens when a lot of the damage is focused on Imp, a lot of the damage is focused on this Kalista.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. We are going to break out into 10 lanes. Good Xenoblade actually coming through there. We'll stun up Kid, but a good shield there by Jonna as well. Kitty, will protect Kid in the early stages. And Imp, though, getting aggressive here with PYL. Looks like a quick level 2 going to help after doing those Krogs.
Yeah, getting the Krogs, having that level advantage. You see how defensively Kid and Kitties are positioning right here. They're completely denied off the minion wave, showing so much respect here.
And that's a lot of damage as well. Kid actually kind of caught out. Imp going to do some good damage. Actually, maybe going to go back in. The shield, though, does come through for Kitties. But that's a big disadvantage here for Sivir. And is it just me, Papa Smithy, or are Chinese teams getting much better at punishing Sivers in lane?
I think they are. I mean, it's an adaptation. We've seen so much Sivir play in the first 3 weeks of the LPL that it makes sense that everyone has been homebrewing, coming up with these thoughts of, okay, how do we deal with this Sivir in lane? We've seen so many different thoughts. We've seen Jinx in a lane sort. We've seen Jinx in a straight 2v2 in the previous series. We've seen Caitlyn, you know, with that massive range advantage. You have a lot of options against Sivir, and if you just don't give her a free laning phase, if you don't ensure that she gets to a team fight equal on items and has all that utility from her ultimate, you get the rewards right there. But they've picked Sivir a lot for the comp right here. Sivir and Maokai have so much synergy that, you know, having that frontline take, if Pokemon can get bigger, Maokai has been the champion he's shown the most skill on and the most ability to carry a game on. If Pokemon can get big, it can get really tanky, it's going to be difficult for Imp and LGD to blow through that frontline tank.
Yeah, we popped through the mid lane for a second. Very even in CS, kind of what we expect between Rookie and Wayless. Xerath's a little low on mana, but they'll be fine just trading blows back and forth and trying to get their farm early. It looks like a quick teleport actually being burnt by Pokemon though, so mana gotten forced back, but double Doran's ring now as he returns to lane.
It looks like he used all his mana trying to push out the wave and get a very early level 4, get an advantage. And now he's got his second Doran ring right here for a bit more mana sustain. And he should still have that teleport up for the first dragon around 10 minutes.
Imp is ridiculously far ahead in experience, by the way. He's done a great job of denying Kid a lot here and just poking. Now Kid finally hits level 3, but Imp is, you know, through on the way to level 5 now. So that's a really strong advantage, and Kid isn't even leaving the lane.
And this is the kind of snowball that you see in solo queue when one team takes Krugs and the enemy team misjudges the level 2 ping right there. It happened very clearly here, but Kid had to use his flash during that level 2 exchange, and then with the way the minions broke, he was completely denied off the minion wave right there. And look, it's Janna. She's not a sustained support. She can top you off, but there was no way that Kid could trade without his flash available. So he just has to say, all right, unless I get some jungle help in the bottom lane here, I have to just be hard denied, even though I'm Sivir, I'm the lane bully.
Yeah, good stun there as well. Great tornado actually though for Kid is an answer, but the heal will get popped. Kid actually quite low. Imp gonna juke in there. The exhaust did come through, but Rend will get almost the kill as PYL's Ignite picks it up.
Imp was very smart to hold on to the Rend till after the exhaust faded right there. He was obviously hoping for the selfish kill right there, but the lane advantage they've got now, 20 CS and a kill on the AD carry. Massive bot lane advantage for LGD, and this is why MPYL are revered, because they are very, very strong laners.
Yeah, so rare as well for a 2v2 kill to just happen in a lane at this level of play. So very impressive stuff there. And Kid, again, who played very well in the opening of IG's games, has not played nearly as well. And it feels like it's not just, you know, it's not lineups, it's not Kakao specifically. Everyone on IG just is either getting figured out or just not playing nearly as well as they were when they opened.
It's one of the few Korean-Chinese duo lanes or synergy spots we'll talk about in the LPL that really stuck out. We saw Clearlove and Deft really getting a bond on EDG. Very much the same story, but even in the same lane between Imp and PYL there. Obviously, communication not an issue whatsoever as they time their abilities perfectly in that engage.
Yeah, and Akon now in the top lane as well. Bit behind on CS here to Maokai, but the double Doran's going to make things pretty breezy for Pokemon early on. But Akon CSing very well. We talk about Akon as being, you know, the king of resources top laners, and he's got his favorite champion arguably here in Rumble.
But I mean, Pokemon in the same token, so heavily preyed upon when EDG played IG, so completely taken out of the series in terms of repeated ganks from Clearlove and so much jungle pressure. For once, he's been actually able to lane quite happily. And, you know, in standard lane against Maokai, going even against, as Maokai going against Rumble, doing just fine.
Yep, mid lane as well. Slight lead there for Rookie and CS, but Wayless just kind of dodging out, trying to see if he can get some vision down. Vintage Codex is finished for both of these mid lane champions as well. As we kind of expect, Wayless and Rookie going very even here, toe-to-toe in the early stages of that lane. Lead down the bottom continues to grow for Imp, who's aggressively freezing this lane back where he can. He's 46 to 29 CS and growing now.
Yeah, I believe that's the deepest spot that you could freeze away, and you can see kids just walking out to try and get the lane push going right here. It's just out of turret range, and exactly the worst spot for a 500 range, no flash AD carry to be able to influence this lane. His flash is back up, but still with Janna, This is one of the few times we've seen Janna really struggle in lane.
Imp going to pop the ulti. Kitty's going to be in trouble. Imp going to move in now as well, using that Marshall Poise so well. The Rend is on. Kitty's down a flash, but Imp gets an easy kill. Now Kid could be in trouble, but Kakal's rotated through the heal. Has come in, and Imp's going to keep trying to auto his way out. Kakal going to pop the ulti, but it's not quite enough damage. PYL is in a lot of trouble. Imp going to keep cutting back. A good flash laid there from PYL to keep him alive, and Imp's going to keep going. He doesn't quite have enough left. And Kid and Kakao will get the trade.
Yeah, I thought he might even be able to get the Rend kill on Kakao, but it was smart rotation coming out from a 1-for-1 trade, given how the lane was going, is massive for IG, especially Kid picking up the gold right there. Looking at the gold versus, he's already 600 gold behind. That would have been close to 1,000 if he hadn't picked up that kill.
But still really nice play from the bottom lane of LGD. You talked about it, the Korean-Chinese duo still looking strong. And Imp, I believe when questioned about this team, said, you know what, I could have done a lot of different things. I had lots of offers from teams, but I wanted to play with PYL.
And there's a lot of Marta synergy, Marta-like synergy between the two. Very similar supports, aggressive with their warding, smart in their laning and use of abilities, and just the ability to communicate that power spike in bottom lane, which completely caught Kid and Kitty's unaware, has basically won them this lane.
It really has, and Wayless now returns with a bit of a power spike on his own here. Blue Earth being picked up for himself. Looks like Azir's already gotten his, so Rookie going to go back and do some shopping now. Gotten himself a Morella Nomicon. Very swift on that particular item timing.
And TBQ or Chuen has definitely been just slowly farming up the jungle. 32 CS here. Ironically, the same as Nunu, who doesn't have much AoE clear, so I would have expected a slight CS advantage coming out for Vi. He does have the Assault and Battery available right now, so where he first uses that ability will be really interesting for me.
Yeah, Kakao up towards his red buff as well, going to nom that away when consumed. Does have 2 points there and 2 points in Ice Ball, so spreading those points out early on, just wants to make sure he gets the maximum amount out of his and Nunu in the early levels. And Kakao, this is the thing that was maybe my question going into this draft is, it's a fine pick here. We've seen Khalilov play Nunu to great success so far in the LPL, but just not really a Kakao champion.
No, it doesn't have that same ganking pressure that we associate with Kakao, as we see more engagements in the bottom lane.
Good trades coming in, but Imp's winning there. The Rend's going to come through as well. Flashing forward, Imp does get the Rend, but he gets exhausted. Going to jump in and try and finish it off, but Kid with a shield there. Nicely done by Kid. He's now Pokemon coming through onto Xuen, who's maybe gone a little too deep in this lane. Does Assault and Battery onto Pokemon. Does flash as well. That might be enough. Pokemon, though, flashing for the Arcane Smash. And this teleport getting so much value. Now Kid is running in. There's Azir coming down as well. Rookie going to look to zone him out. There's nowhere for PYL to go. And that's going to be 3 clean kills for 0.
Huge kills for IG right there, and Imp just went too far in. The exhaust from Kitties at just the right second won them that engage. Kid picked up the kill with the bouncing blade. Imp went far too aggressive. He even flashed under turret to try and get a kill trade right there. And then just LGD were hopelessly exposed. They were so far overextended that there was nothing they could do to influence that fight. 3 kills and then an objective. We're going to see the replay right here. There's so many Rend stacks on Kid. You can see what Imp wants to do right here. He pushes the Rend stacks. This will be definitely a kill, but the last second exhaust is masterful from Kid. He tries to flash in, but the shield negates the damage. And then Pokemon's just in a wonderful spot. Chuen is already overextended, but hasn't used Assault and Battery. We asked about the first Assault and Battery. It's used completely in vain right here. Azir's the first person to rotate down, and just completely rotationally outplayed at IG, just from the smart exhaust from Kitties. The MVP just for using a Summoner Smell, but the split-second timing was so massive in that engage.
Yeah, able to save his Eddie carry, and that's a big win for IG. They're actually going to put themselves in the gold lead now and pick up 4-2 in kills, so get the kill lead there as well. It's not a big lead, to be fair, only 600 gold early on with no major objectives being taken, but from all the momentum, his Kid's actually in the top lane now with Kitties swapped up there as Akon's going to clear out the waves with Equalizer. For all the momentum that the bottom lane had for LGD, they lost a lot of that just in that trade.
I think it's very easy to downplay just how massively ahead Imp and PYL were in this lane. I mean, we saw those CS advantages, 20 CS at level 3 kind of advantages. Those usually are snowballed like crazy. It's why in solo queue, whenever you see an AD carry support duo get ahead, it's so hard to wrestle it back without significant jungle pressure. In this case, it was both jungle pressure and a very smart exhaust, punishing the over-aggression from Imp, and they're reaping the rewards. They're getting them out of this lane just because of the CS disadvantage, giving Sivir an easier time to get level 6, to get farmed up. But it's a big win for IG to be even competitive in gold at this point.
Yeah, and the swap from IG is kind of interesting. I think Kid with his pickaxe and actually a fairly quick Avarice Blade and double Doran's going to be very good at knocking down these minion waves. It's not quite the BF Sword power spike that we'll see, but Kallista's going to struggle to really pressure Pokemon at his turret.
You don't really have the freedom to swap your AD carry duo up top in a losing matchup very often in games because you usually give away Dragon for doing it. But they've already taken that objective have IG after the failed turret dive from Imp. So they're able to swap up top with Reckless Abandon, get the free farm basically onto Kid right here. And Acorn, he can burn the tree in a 1v1, but in a 1v2, just going to do his best to pick up CS. So IG, strategically, made some great adaptations.
Acorn looking good, though, on his particular Rumble. Got those double penetration items done, so Haunting Guys plus the Sork Shoes already completed. He'll try and play safe here and just get whatever farm he can. Pokemon going to do the same. Actually, about 20 CS ahead, probably thanks in part to that fantastic teleport. But up the top, Kitty's in trouble. Good ult, though, coming through, but the smite does go down. Now, Kitty's going to get aggressed on Acorn with a good ulti, but Kitty's will flash over the top, and that's going to be a good disengage from IG.
Twen probably surprised to see the flash still up, but in the mid lane, Wayless take a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's in trouble. That's a good stun coming through. The damage is massive, but Rookie just pokes him through with a soldier and not enough CC for Wayless to live.
He tried the all-in right there, but it did not work whatsoever. Rookie had that cleanse. It was massive in that exchange, able to cleanse the 2.5-second stun that comes out from the E right there. Picks up the kill. Maybe surprised by the summon. There is always the potential to be surprised by that cleanse summon because it's so rarely picked up in both competitive and solo queue. And IG are growing their lead.
They are, and it's kind of weird to me that IG have a lead in this game, but they do. It's about 800 gold now, 5-2 in kills, and up that dragon like you mentioned as well. I mean, Imp still getting farm here. Kid at 2-1-1 is still lagging a bit behind in CS. Pokemon sort of the same there as well, but Rookie's looking good. He's got a quick, needlessly large rod now done after his Merlinomicon, looking very strong. And for all the things that were going wrong, LGD's bottom lane just looks deflated after that 3-0 wipe.
And there's no need to go for the emergency power spike in terms of the righteous glory from Pokemon right. He's actually able to go for the far more selfish choice, the Rod of Ages, just because, look, think about how different this game would have been if that bottom lane dive had never happened. There would have been no way that you could have gone for a stacking item when Imp and PYL were snowballing so hard on the bottom. But now that they've arrested that pressure and actually have a gold lead, you can go for that item with Reckless Abandon right here. And once he finishes the Frozen Heart on top of this Frozen Heart on top of this Rod of Ages, going to be so hard for Imp to break through that on-the-hunt buffed Maokai in the front line.
Yeah, it really is. And I don't know the exact stats, but Righteous Glory Maokais have not done that well in the LPL teams. But Rod of Ages is very strong, very selfish item, like you mentioned. Wayless did pick up his blue buff there as well, so he's looking a bit better here. Going to be able to AoE clear down the waves and catch up a tad on Rookie in CS, as he is behind about 10 right now. But again, Wayless not able to roam around, maybe team up with Xuen in some of the longer range ganks, or even Acorn to add his ultimate to fights here. You know, Rookie hasn't either, but he got a solo kill. So as far as the mid lane's just farming go, I think IG are very happy with where this game's gotten to.
It's worth knowing that although it looks like there's an item advantage for Kid because he has the BF sword up, in top lane, burning's
Acorn
happening.
going in. Kid is in a whole host of trouble. He doesn't have flash this time, but will be able to get away. Kid pops his ulti. Pokemon's porting up as well. And Kid's probably not getting the kill, and maybe Pokemon is going to go in. Do go forward, but PYL's here as well. Missing the stun there, unfortunately, but enough to zone out Kid, potentially. Acorn, though, getting low there as Pokemon dives in and gives Sivir the kill. Now Rookie over the top's going to go in for PYL, and that's an easy dive coming in. Jana did go down to Rumble, but a 2-for-1 trade. IG will take it.
Yeah, so much cavalry coming through for IG, right, that they were able to go for the slightly over-aggressive turret dive. Kid's in trouble here. He's doing the fancy moves to get away from the Xerath ultimate, and all this time down bottom lane. Still hasn't shopped, still sitting on about 3,000 gold is Imp, but it looks like he's going to take this turret.
Yeah, top lane, Rookie actually going in again here on Azir, getting a little low. Kid well and truly out of the fight already. Wayless is rotated up, and Xuen used the ulti, was around as well. Rookie very low, has to be careful, gets stunned. Wayless does pick him off. Rookie got so greedy there.
It looked like he was going to pick up the tasty kill on Twen, but the blast from Wayless did surprising damage right there, despite being in an item hole compared to his opponent. Very nice pickup from Wayless.
And a small gold lead turns back into basically an even game. Dragon up right now as it does come back through. Wayless going to pressure this top turret. Pokemon might want to go back in, but it's going to go home instead where it's safe. And Kitties and Cacao could potentially start up this Dragon here, but Acorn is down here and his ulti's back up quite soon.
Such a crazy seesaw game here, Patient Time. First we saw LGD with the massive advantage in bottom lane, and then the huge swing coming out to IG, but it's the aggressive turret dives on both sides. They did not need to go for such an aggressive all-in turret dive. Literally flash Tristan advancing onto two people under turret to pick up some exit kills. The answering kills and rotation from Imp was very important, and now the Infinity Edge out of just a pickaxe. We've seen a lot of attack speed-based Callista builds to just trade on the rend damage, but the right-click auto is going to be doing plenty of damage here as well.
Yeah, and both the AD carries, Acorn actually going to go in on Cacao, do a surprising amount of damage to Nunu, who is very tanky, both with the sights and just the fact that he has very strong base stats. Kitty's going to ward up the back, though. Dragon is going to be the next consideration. Do have a pause, though. So we'll wait, of course, until that Perspires. But ADK builds are interesting to me because they both went for the same build. They got the pickaxe into the Avarice Blade, and Imp's clearly come out on top here with a quick IE.
And people are still feeling out what the correct build is on Kalista. Is it going to be the IE rush? Is it going to be the attack speed by the Ruin King? I'd expect it to be the auto attack based abilities because Rend is such a strong ability until it's nerfed, but there's a lot of power there.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. That dragon fight could be interesting as well. As we do pop back into the game. Whalers here trying to poke over the top there with his Earth. Does have blue buff for a short while longer, so going to be able to use that to his advantage. Although IG getting this dragon quite low. They've got it to about 50% health. Schwen maybe looking to go in. Dragon resets a little bit. Good ultimate comes in there. Almost takes Kid. Pokemon going to dive in the back. PYL going deep as well. Whalers picks up Kitty's Cacao. Uses his ulti. PYL looks very dead and goes down to Cacao. But Cacao going to be repaid in kind there by Imp. And now Rookie going in over onto Schwen. Does get the kill. Imp very low as well. Going to get killed by Kid. And Acorn now trying to run away. That's 3 for 2 in favor of IG. And Rookie once more does not chase, but a good fight around the dragon.
3 for 3 overall. I mean, you have to talk about first the amazing equalizer on the choke point, on the steps right there to completely split IG's comp. But then the Emperor's Divide from Rookie was just as good. I really hope we can get a replay out there. It's just 2 players with excellent knowledge of their champion pulling out massive cooldowns that seesawed the fight. It was overall even, but really exciting.
And of course, the biggest news there, Dragon's still up here, so IG only have the one. LGD still without their first, but are going to be able to contest as they reset for yet another potential dragon fight here. So we'll see what happens here. No major items done quite yet. We're actually tagging Kitties with the Xenoplay. Whalers following in there. Coming through. That's a good amount of AoE damage. Does not... Oh, actually popped his ulti. I think Whalers might have misclicked that button. Or it's not quite up yet. That's quite hard to tell.
Yes, we can't really tell right here. The only thing we know about Whalers is very low on mana right here. He's waiting for it to regen a little bit. The poke comes through, but nope, IG take the dragon.
Yeah, Whalers did not quite have his ulti, but it's up right now as it will come back through there. But IG do get their second dragon. Good reset there by IG to resecure it. And Whalers, despite the catch, couldn't finish the kill on Janna.
Couldn't get the exit kill right there. Important to get that second dragon. It felt like the game was going to start to swing towards LGD, especially as that picture-perfect equalizer came out. But IG, they regroup fastest. They pick up that dragon. They get the benefit of the Nunu pickup right here, and they're looking okay moving into this mid-game. Very even despite the 1,300 gold lead for LGD.
And unfortunately, Whalers, 2-1-0, not too bad. Decent amount of CS, although slightly behind Rookie. Didn't have the death cap finished up for that potential dragon fight after the reset, so couldn't go in and get it. Now completed, of course, just after that dragon's already gone, but he's going to be a little sad that if he had the death cap, that John is very dead.
And we've had the microscope on Azir builds all throughout the LPL. We've been talking about how the aggressive positioning coming out of the Zhonya's makes it a very attractive buy compared to the death cap. Sitting on about 1,700 gold, Rookie can choose either flavor right here, but I'd be surprised to see him not go for the Zhonya.
Yeah, we'll see. Whalers going to pop over and get the blue buff there, so Schwen going to help him out. Rookie going back to base. We'll see what item he does want to go for here, and it is the Zhonya's, Papa Smithy.
I mean, the amount of space control. You saw the Emperor's Divide at the end of that fight, splitting up the team. Having Cleanse, the Flash available for the next fight, and the Emperor's Divide, so much potential space control. The ability to be a frontline initiator and then go into stasis, be effectively zoning the enemy and then being able to be untargetable. It's what Lissandra trades upon. It's why she's such a popular pick ban champion. And Azir with a Zhonya's has much the same flavor.
Yeah, we'll see. Looks like Akon's actually finished his next major item as well. Go for something a little different now. Ryla's Crystal Scepter has been finished on Rumble.
I mean, a lot of Rumbles have kind of dropped this item from their core build, focusing on the Zhonya's for the overheat damage in the back. But Akon, going back to a very traditional item build here, it makes the equalizer that much more potent in terms of slow. Adds up to probably about a 45-50% slow. But more importantly, the ability to chase. It gives so much chase power to Rumble because all his abilities apply that slow.
Here we are going to get knocked up there. Kalista altered there. Imp will get the kill into Rookie. Empress Divide, not enough. Now Kitty's going to get chased. Schwen goes for the dunk, and Imp gets a double kill very quickly. So LGD looking really strong with that little exchange.
Yeah, I believe Rookie, they just underestimated the damage he was going to take. He dies with the Zhonya's available still. They use the Emperor's Divide, use the Cleanse, but no time to use the Zhonya's. And LGD, they're trying to rush down this Baron.
Yeah, here comes Kalista Baron power here. 21 minutes in, a very early Baron here. Teleport is coming in for Pokemon. Imps maybe looking to finish it, but they are going to disengage Pokemon right in the backlines where he wants to be. The Equalizer goes down, but Kid gets the first kill into PYL. Gets zoned out there though, and Imp maybe he can re-engage here. Doesn't quite go for the autos on the Scuttle Cap to move forward. Akon, they're going to flash forward. Kid will try and turn around. Whalers looking for the W, won't quite find it. The Q, though, will look in, but it doesn't quite hit onto Kid. Has to give that up instead, and they'll actually reset off the Dragon. Whalers almost gets that kill, though, onto Kid, who just lives. But a 2-for-1, they'll take it. IG stop the Baron.
Even though he has to suicide to do it, Pokemon does stop the Baron. By far the more important thing of that trade right there. They get 2 exit kills on PYL and Schwen. IG, they're staying in this game, but it's such a game of inches right here. It feels like every time one side gets a decisive advantage, the other team steps up and goes for it as well.
It's been super back and forth, but if I have to give credit to anyone here, it's not who I'd expected on IG. Pokemon, he's been playing quietly. He's on Maokai, of course, the champion he's shown a lot of competence on, but his teleports so far this game have been on point.
I think what other teams will learn from watching this game is that Pokemon, when he's left to his own devices, is actually a very capable tank top lane player. It reminds me of Godlike, also Ackerman and his other name changes over the years in terms of being able to play those tanks with a great proficiency. And it's only when he was really put behind by EDG, but forced to operate on emergency items on champions like Rumble, that he really fell away. So it really opens up that focus Pokemon as a strategy. But that's extra information for IG to work for. If they know that's what's going to happen, they can ward for him, just like OMG are always focusing on warding for Going. And just give him a few more tools to succeed with. Because if he gets that Maokai, if he gets a free laning phase, his target selection in fights and just his overall general team fighting is quite good.
It really has been. And for a lot of games in the LPL where we've seen so much dragon control, I feel like this has been one of the more topsy-turvy games, and it's quite rare. I mean, the dragon kind of got snuck away by IG for the first one. They've consistently contested for each dragon that's come up as well. And as far as close games go, we haven't had too many in the LPL, but this is shaping up to be very close between these two
Even
teams.
more simply, how many series have we seen where there were more than 2 momentum changes? It's usually been a team gets ahead, wins. A team gets ahead, there's a big turning event, the other team wins. It hasn't been consistent topsy-turvy game like you say, but this has been it. It makes it exciting. It's good to watch, but you have to feel like neither team's getting ahead enough on vision. Neither team's getting ahead enough on controlling those side waves to really push their advantages. And then these split-second fights, these decisions-making and team fighting is so even across the board. IG have definitely stepped up. We thought they might get blown away by this LGD team who has been in form, but they've been very competitive this series.
And well, in this pause as well, as we do have the game paused for a slight moment here, Bubba Smithy. Maybe looking forward, it's a pretty even game so far. Just glancing quickly over at the gold, LGD do have a slight lead, but nothing massive. Is there anything compositionally that we might look to as we move towards the later stages where more 5v5s will start happening?
I have to bring up Pokemon again, picking up that Maokai. Maokai in a late game team fight, when you have Rod of Ages, when you know it's going to be 3,500 health Maokai with a lot of armor, probably going to be the Frozen Heart or maybe the Spirit Visage coming up next. Very hard to peel that tank off, especially when she has the on-the-hunt movement speed right there. It's going to be hard for Kalista to get through that front line right there. And Kalista's all about applying that rend to as many people as possible, getting those assassinations with that ability because it scales up in terms of damage. It doesn't scale up that much in damage if you're auto-attacking a 300 armor Maokai.
No, and I did like, though, that LGD clearly went for a quick Baron using the power of Kallista's Rend. I mean, it's one of the things that you kind of talked about a little bit. Actually, we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago when Spirit was doing a lot more split pushing, and one of your thoughts is, you know what, we could actually do this with a Kalista comp, because having a Smite-esque ability with Rend makes objective control quite a bit easier.
Usually when we're talking about that, it's going to be a more attack speed-based Kalista. Usually it's Blade the Ruin King, or if it's North America or Europe, the Hurricane build. Just because Rend adds up so quickly over structures. It has an AD scaling, but when it comes to neutral, it's mostly going to come out of attack speed. And this is the Infinity Edge Kalista. We haven't seen so much of this in competitive play. It still has that burst, of course, to critical strike. It of course, will add up with critical strike modifiers like attack speed. Probably going to be the Static Shiv coming out next. But when it comes to securing damage on a buff, definitely can't compare to the attack speed builds.
Oh, for sure. And Imp's kind of been feeling out this champion. I think he feels like he's comfortable playing it. He likes it a lot, but hasn't quite settled on ability yet. If I recall correctly, his last Kalista build was, I think, Blade of the Ruin King base. So he's definitely getting a feel for the champion still. I
mean, I guess the only theory that I can apply to the Infinity Edge build is he realizes that Kalista with attack speed is never going to bust through a Maokai. So go for that more traditional Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, Last Whisper, and give you a chance to take him out with auto attacks rather than trading on that Rend.
Yeah, and Static Shift has been completed now as well. So 2-item power spikes pretty much across the board for LGD actually, with the Rylo's done for Rumble, the Rabadon's done for Wayless, and the Static Shiv now with the pickaxe actually finished up for Imp as well. But things aren't too shabby over on the IG side. We've got Zhonya's completed a little while ago actually by Rookie. Pokemon's on the way with his Rod of Ages, plus probably quite a bit of gold to go. Well, not too much, unfortunately, for him. And Sivir kind of getting up as well. So IG may be struggling here in the mid-game for gold.
Yeah, might be struggling. I mean, there's a significant item advantage on Kalista, despite the fact that Kid really came up right here and made this game very competitive. It should be an item or more given that early laning phase, but it's sitting on almost the goal to transform this Avarice Blade into static shifts. They're doing very capably despite a horror laning phases, kid.
Yeah, LGD, though, getting a lot friskier with their rotations here. Dragon back up in a minute 20. LGD still don't have one, so I'd like to get that. Of course, IG looking for their third as well for that extra movement speed, but haven't quite been able to find enough aggressive wards here. Whaler's going to move back into the mid lane and get his wave clear on as well. Rookie, though, has looked commanding on this. Azir actually has a pretty decent CS lead here of 30 or more as he backs off towards his turret to leave Whalers to clear them out. And this game, again, very balanced.
It's very balanced. I feel like the Equalizer versus the Emperor's Divide will kind of be the defining teamfight ultimate usage right there. You'd always give the tilt to Akon just because he has so much experience with that ability. Already showed his proficiency with a wonderful Equalizer in the earlier Dragon fight. But the Emperor's Divide from Crookie was just as impressive. And with the cleanse, with the flash, with the Zhonya's, he can get in very aggressively right there and change a fight with that summoner spell.
Yeah, big item here for Rookie now as well as we move into our next Dragon fight about 30 seconds away. Rookie's got a Stinger, so he's pretty much at maximum power for this stage in the game for an Azir.
And if they're ever able to control a choke where they have multiple Sand Soldiers down and maybe Nunu using the absolute zero right there to slow attack speed and movement speed, going to be so hard to go through that locus control. So much damage and so much space control between Nunu and Azir.
Wayless, I think, just stole the blue buff, by the way, with his ulti. Very nicely done. So that's actually going to give him a big edge here around this fight. Lots of poke coming up from that Rabadon's Death Cap Xerath.
Yeah, the mana sustain not as big an issue for Azir right here, but really wants those cooldowns right. He's actually got the Blood Boy applied to Azir, so we'll remember that as we might see an engage come in. Nope, Rookie, they're just looking like they're going to rotate.
Yeah, I did hope that we'd see the Blood Boil on Rookie, and it seems like that's the case. I mean, it does make the Sand Soldier attack faster, and that's a big core part of Azir's kit.
That's why you see the Stinger. It gives him cooldown reduction in attack speed, which he really scales his damage off right there. So it does make a lot of sense. It's an interesting synergy right there. He doesn't have to worry about applying the Blood Boil to Sivir. We're going to probably focus it on this mid laner who's going to look to position aggressively anyway. And with the movement speed, the stasis, the ultimate, and the flash cleanse defensive summoner choice spells, a lot of this comp is surprisingly about Rookie.
Yeah, I mean, Azir is just a weird champion, right? He's kind of an AP auto attack carry, which isn't really the sort of champion we're used to talking about, but it does make sense with the way they complex out. I like to pick up here from Kakao, playing the Nunu, and IG battling out of a bit of a hole, but looking fine here.
I mean, the only real analog you can say is something like on-hit Teemo or maybe KO, which saw a bit more play.
Mainstream play?
It definitely does scale in a very similar way. You see similar item builds, just can't build that Nusha's Tooth because, of course, they do not apply that on-hit effect.
No, it looks like IG going to take out the top turret now as well, so get themselves actually their first turret of the game. Yeah, that's the first one they're taking it out. We're actually pretty deep into this game, and only 3 total towers have been taken out. None of them sun turrets either, so thank you, Rookie, for not trolling the spectators here. Whalers continuing to wave turret. That might be part of the reason we haven't seen too many towers, and a lot of the fights have been for Dragon.
I mean, with all the wave clear mids right here, it makes sense to see a bit less turret destruction. You know, it's very hard to push in on either Azir or Xerath, so the mid turrets have largely stayed undamaged in the mid lane here. The side lane turret's starting to fall right here, but it's been a very slow turret snowball, and Kakao started off the game very impressively. He's probably going to be happy with the pace of the game. 0-3-3 is his jungle opponent, this Vi. And Vi, when snowballed, when she can afford to go damage, like a Trinity Force, can do a lot of surprising burst damage in a fight. But when she just goes tanky, she's basically a glorified ultimate bot.
Yeah, Akon just poking kitties there over the top of the wall as well. Kind of on split push duty here as Akon does have his teleport back. Dragon's not available, so getting control over this area right this minute, not of super important, but still good to have control over the map. In fact, both teams are really vying for control, and with not many turrets being taken out, it's actually kind of hard to get control. Kitties could be in trouble, or just misses the Vault Breaker there. Will Schwen. Kitties will back off there as well. So LGD clearly trying to get some more deep wards over on the right-hand side of the map.
So Pokemon's freely farming in top. Actually, Akon's going quite a CS lead over Pokemon, 60 CS already. Starting to get some cost-effective tank items in his Pokemon, but the real power spike for this Maokai will be when that Spirit Visage, so when that Spectral Cow and the Warden's Mail translate into their full items, that's when the real tanky Maokai we know and love will show up.
Yeah, so Pokemon's still working on that, but does have some strong components, and as you said, very cost-efficient there as well. POAL looking around, trying to get some vision. Baron, we saw LGD try and do it at about 21 minutes, and they're pretty keen to do it if they feel like they've got a chance to. Pink ward's going down. Just, again, trying to maintain control of the area. But in what's been a very back-and-forth game, we're kind of a slow 5 to 10 minutes here. And it just seems like both teams don't want to make any more mistakes.
And the team fight's going to be so interesting because IG are all about diving in. They're all about getting onto this hyper-mobile carry that whose only real weakness in a team fight with that passive is just maybe a Maokai Twisted Advance. The targeted CC is the strongest thing you can pick against a Kalista. And with On the Hunt and a fairly big Pokemon Maokai, you can see the strategy they have right there. But the dive still comes through from, I mean, once you pick a Jinx, it's all about dive as well. And Twen's going to be trying to go through so much AoE CC between Absolute Zero and Rookie here. So whoever's the more successful diver will probably have the win.
LGD starting the Baron again, spotting that Kid was down towards the bottom half of the map. But IG respond very well and make sure to zone them off it. But LGD, they're definitely keeping the threat of that Baron alive in IG's mind. Imp has got 3 damage items now on this Kalista.
The Emperor is very, very large. Finally justifying that early laning phase with a significant item advantage over Sivir right here. But again, Maokai is pretty large too and does have all those abilities to gap close on top of the Kalista. So you look in terms of peel on the LGD side, minimal peel at best. It's going to be all about the engage. So this controlling of space in a fight and just how much the maneuverability of On the Hunt provides, I feel like the utility of Sivir might make up for the lack of damage output in terms of the items.
We'll have to see here. A small lead for LGD, still at 1,500 gold or so. Dragon back in a minute 25, so both teams will be likely having a fight over that next Dragon. It will be IG's third and LGD's second to catch them up in the race for that objective. Kid going to look to get the blue buff here. Does give it over to Rookie, of course. So Azil will be very happy to have that for the upcoming Dragon fight. And Rookie, who's been playing very well in this series, getting ahead. PYL could be in trouble. Kid going to pop his ulti there. Kalista not quite in range for the ulti. Forcing the flash out from PYL. Kakao, though, has popped his ulti. But Schwen will actually ult him to cancel it. But he's going to go down. Nowhere for that Vi to go. And that's basically a free kill for IG. Oh, God. In the back there, Wazir just dominates Rumble. And Rookie's outputting so much damage on this Azir.
Yeah, both Wayless and Imp were completely unaffected in that fight. Weren't able to get in whatsoever. And IG fighting around their comp very smart. And they're going in.
They're going in on top of him. The heal does get popped. Pokemon could be in a bit of trouble. Does get rendered. Gets chunked to about 50% health. And LGD will defend their mid turret and their carry with the rest of their carries that were left. But IG have plenty of space to do this next Dragon now.
The issue is there is 30 seconds and they have flashing low health bars with people coming back on the LGD side. So both teams are probably going to get an option to go back and shop. And we might see a fairly even team fight once again. Basically a reset after the first 2 kills came in for IG.
Yeah, Wayless doing the smart thing as well. Sticking around in case they did do the Dragon, he could poke them off it as well. And his blue buff is actually up, so if he wanders over now, tries to pick that up, that will give them the poke advantage as they move into the Dragon contest.
Yeah, and so much gold. Actually 2,800 unspent gold on Kid. He's probably going to go back and pick up the components. It looks going to be the Bloodthirst. I thought he might have considered the Last Whisper, but no, true frontline tank coming out from LGD. Makes sense to go the Bloodthirster route right there. And LGD, they're just trying to get position on this Baron again. They cannot afford to give the 3rd Dragon to IG.
Yeah, and Rookie's finished up his death cap now as well, which explains why he did so much damage to the LGD front line. It's a bit awkward between Vi and Rumble, but they really are the ones that are standing in the front trying to soak their damage, and Rookie's just doing far too much of it. He'll start the Dragon up by himself now as well. LG looking for a pick. This might be a free Dragon for IG.
I mean, the big issue for LGD right here is they've picked that pick initiator in terms of Chuen right here. If he gets ahead, gets super tanky or does a lot of damage, it justifies the pick. But he has no dive buddy whatsoever here. It kind of feels like the flavor of those Nocturne comps, where Nocturne jumps in with the darkness, then gets focused down and dies. And that's really all Chuen can do at this stage, 0-4-3 at 30 minutes.
Yeah, just couldn't find impact for those early ganks either. And LGD have been trying to get some map control here with especially Imp's damage on Kalista, helping them around the neutrals. But IG have been on top of contesting things up against IG here and have kept the vision very neutral in this game. And for IG, as far as their comp goes, especially with Rookie scaling up with the Nunu Blood Boil, they're very happy if this game goes a little slower.
And you mentioned the Nunu. That was Kakao's job this game. That's been the pick of Nunu so far in the LPL is one team will pick a very high-pressure jungler, maybe even force a situation where they ban the other jungler and say, all right, we got Lee Sin, what you got? This Nunu counterpick has been coming out consistently, stifling all those aggressive rotations, and really performing his role this game is Nunu and Kakao on that Nunu. It's good to see Kakao finally step up and have a triumphant jungle performance. It's not quite the same Kakao we were expecting perhaps when we came into this series. We're not expecting the aggressive Elise or the Lee Sin mechanics. But maybe we'll start to see the Nunu bans come through in the LPL just because the team that gets the Nunu seems to be getting a significant advantage. 9 times out of 10.
Well, you basically said it in the draft, but Nunu just enables your team to do so much. He kind of scares the enemy jungle into not wanting to enter your jungle or really leave his own jungle. You can aggressively take camps if you want to. We see Beast from Snake do that a lot. But just in general, you get your sight stone, you're very tanky, you've got great utility, you're able to help your carry and also snowball their carries and punish them, especially the AD-based ones. Nunu just gives your team so many tools, and if your team works well with them, he's great.
It almost feels like when people rediscover Java and they're like, man, this guy has so much utility, attack speed, initiation, repeat initiation. You look at Nunu's kit, 2 movement speed slows, 2 attack speed slows, so much zone control from that ultimate. And again, if you go that sights down route, you know that you're going to have so much predictable knowledge about the enemy team's movements. Why picking a Vi early here has really come to haunt LGD and Chuen in particular, because if you know Vi is around your lane, you know what to expect. You know exactly how the Assault and Battery is going to work. So if you can play around that in every lane, how's she ever going to get a successful gank off? And that question's been answered in 34 minutes. She hasn't.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've seen here. As IG is still looking to get some control. Again, very happy if the game's going to play out a little bit slower. Pokemon continuing to pick up CS here as well. And get tanky. He's got a Randuin's done now as well for himself. Rookie is unbelievably strong in this game at 5-2 and 3 with 340 CS. In fact, both him and Wayless have done a lot of farming here. Wayless also at 3.5 items as well, with now a Haunting Guys moved in as well. These AP carries are pretty scary, Papa Smithy.
The outer turrets are still up in mid at 35 minutes. That tells you how much AoE wave clear is coming out between Wayless and Rookie right here. It's actually what slowed down the game. It's why we've seen such a long game right here. There's never been space for either team to invade and get down the wards they want, just because we're used to games with, 14-minute mid turrets, swapping the second dragon for a mid turret. But look, they're not healthy, but they're not going to be able to be pushed down anytime soon on either side.
No, and the Winions get a win there for IG as well, taking out the bottom outer turret, which will be some nice standing gold for them. And the gold settles very even, actually, after that. IG playing slightly behind for the last few minutes of the game, have crept himself back up to basically dead even, and they're ahead on dragons as well. Imp, by the way, speaking of the scary AP carries, has a pretty early Banshee's Veil here as his 4th item. He does not want to get blown up by Rookie.
IG need to get on top, blow up that Banshee Veil importantly, because then Maokai can use the Twisted Advantage and lock him down. If he's able to keep the Banshee Veil up, it negates the speedy Maokai pick right there. So a lot of pressure on him to be poked down by IG. Wow, doing a lot of damage even under the turret right here. Imp's starting to show that mid-game power.
Yeah, Calista does a lot of damage, especially if she's free hitting. And with how mobile she is, she kind of has the Ezreal-esque hyper carry status on her. The good shield will come through, but that's not enough to keep that mid turret protected. And LGD will finally fill the outer ring of turrets after 35.5 minutes. Baron's been looked at multiple times. We've had dragons being taken all across the game. And apparently it's the turrets that are the tricky objective this game.
35.5 minutes for your 3 outer turrets to come down. OMG will be crying in their sleep with a mark like that. But that's just been a reality of this game. It hasn't been poor rotations from either team. It's just so much sheer wave clear. And then, of course, the aggressive, assertive ganking jungle getting completely stifled, and Nunu, of course, having less than ideal ganks. It's just meant that there was so much space and so much time for blue buffs to be donated and waves to be cleared for 35 minutes.
Yeah, you mentioned it. If it's anything about rotations, it's actually very strong rotations by both teams that have kept the turrets at a very neutral position. See POL trying to clear out wards, but doesn't really want to meet Rookie again. The Sensor is already doing plenty of damage, and Rookie will fairly aggressively defend his ward there now. Actually got a Negatron Cloak, maybe looking for the Abyssal as his next item, which would really make Rookie's, carry-esque Azir build, especially with the Nunu in support, just that much stronger.
And having those off tanks with magic damage scaling and Nunu and Maokai will make them do respectable damage. I have to think with the game dragging out so long, I fancy IG's comp just because Maokai and Nunu in the middle of a fight are going to be so strong, and Rookie, he's the person who's the strongest on his team right there. Even though Siva's been about half an item behind the whole game through, this is a massive Azir with so many options between the cleanse, the Zhonyas. He's going to be the Blood Bowl target as well. It's Rookie's game to carry.
It absolutely is, and he's been looking great so far, keeping up a massive clip on CS right now. 380 at 37 minutes with just an unbelievable amount of items, dragging up in 10 seconds now as well. And I think LGD realized they have to do something, which I think is why Leona currently has the parts of a Righteous Glory in her inventory.
Absolutely. The point-and-click initiation from the Vi is not working, so if it gets late enough that PYL can be that secondary initiator on Leona, That's what they really need to get these fights going.
Next Dragon fight up there. Akon's ready to go, level 16 for himself as well, but the Dragon's already pulled out by IG. It's going down very quickly here, and the spike goes in, but Kakao, who is securing now, Akon going in, but Rookie with a good ulti, and Pokemon all in the backline there, just soaking up damage. Kid though, almost getting chanced out, trying to dodge his zero ultimates. Pokemon going to go down for the first kill there, and now Kakao going in. PWL actually knocks up the next person after Callisto, and Kid's going to get 1v1. No, actually kills and gets the trade there. A double kill for Sivir, and a 4 for 3. A bloodbath around the Dragon.
A complete bloodbath after a wonderful ultimate from Akon, burning on 4 members from that fight. I thought that would be the difference, but IG's team fighting comp started to step up right there, stymied the flow after the first kills came down, and it ended up being very, very even, and importantly, IG did take that Dragon.
And it's nice to see IG actually team fighting as we do have a replay.
So it's a very long fight here. Look at this equalizer on 4 members, but the Emperor's Divide keeps Akon from overheating in the backline. A lot of space control between Twen and PYL, but in the backline right here, we see Kid is able to get free hits, able to pick up PYL in the backline, get damage, and Rookie is controlling a lot of space, but Wayless that whole time. The issue here for Pokemon in specific is, do you focus on that immovable Xerath, or do you focus on the hyper mobility of that Kalista? I guess the question is, you want to burst Kalista instantly and then be able to switch targets onto Xerath. Neither of those things happen, and that's why they didn't get the impact of the super farmed Maokai.
Yeah, and after that, Imp and Kid kind of ran into each other and just exploded most of the rest of the teams with damage as well. So kind of another reset there. Dragon did go over to IG though, so they'll pick up their 4th Dragon of the game actually. So looking good there. That 5th Dragon might be the breaker that they need to really punch through and win this game. And LGD now have to very strictly defend that. They only have their 1st Dragon.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Baron buff come down at 39 minutes here. There's never just been a decisive win. It's never been 4 for 0, 4 for 1, 5 for 0. It's been very even trades. And so far, IG's neutral control, afforded by all this movement by Kakao and Nunu, has been the really big advantage for them here. It's not reflected in the gold, but to be 1 stack away from that 5th Dragon where regardless of team comp, you get so much power.
He's in trouble there. Oh, good Callisto will pull him out. Imp's like, yeah, I'll keep you safe, buddy. Actually, Akon teleporting down as well. Maybe look to go in, but doesn't quite pull the trigger on the ulti.
They have a lot more strategic options to IG right now. They have the teleport advantage. You've got minion waves pushing in bottom tops. They need to rotate and push out their waves. We've talked about the importance of that side wave control in previous series today. None more different right here. I'd like to see Maokai start to move towards bottom, but you know LGD are going to want to keep up the aggressive posturing. They may not be looking for a fight, but they don't want to let Maokai split push bottom.
No, not at all. On those sides, it's especially important when the game gets later as well. You know, team fights are much harder. You want to stay grouped more and more often because you need to have strength in numbers and be together. But if one of your turrets is getting pushed down by a big stack of powerful minions, game gets a lot harder.
Very interesting to see Wayless commit to poke right here with the Liandry's Torment pickup right here. Has a lot of magic penetration available through his items. He's looking for that first Q or that first ultimate to really start ticking down on kind of the short-range champions. Look at IG's lineup. Rookie and the Azir and Sivir are both quite short-range carries. Although when you have your Sand Soldiers out, you can attack from range. You're best in that kind of medium to short-range damage area. And Wayless going to try and just trade on the advantage of the champion he's picked and try and poke out to ensure that when they start a fight, it's going to be at 70% health on the IG side, not full health.
Yeah, and having a game that's now gone 41 minutes in with a very even gold values, people are very powered up here. So items across the board for both teams here. And still, as you said, Papa, not a definitive win yet in either of these situations. So we'll see which team can break first. I mean, Pokemon's down the bottom doing his job now, still pushing down towards the bottom side of the map.
It's getting really, really tanky on this Maokai. It's very difficult to beat a 4-item Maokai. He's close to his Thornmail, you'd have to think will be the last item here. I don't see how Callisto can break through, even going for a far more traditional AD carry build here as Imp.
We'll have to see. I mean, Imp's basically done as far as build goes. Even got his boots enchanted as well. LGD going to start up Baron yet again, and it's going to drop very quickly, but maybe not quick enough here. The ult's already been popped there by Sivir. Kiddies are going to go in Akon, trying to run defense. There does have the zombies going and will get popped. He gets exhausted. The Baron actually goes over to LGD, but Akon's going to fall first. Kakao in the back does go down to Callisto, and now we'll fight the 4v4. PWL does get ulted in, knocks up Rookie in the back, but there's just damage coming through. Wayless off the side trying to poke around as well. Kid's going to come in there, but a good knockback from Kiddies is going to secure that kill onto Imp, and now Whaler's going to fight all alone, and even if he gets away, which is going to be pretty tricky here with a nice slow and a good knock up there coming for Kitties, it's going to be very hard for LGD to fight back.
Yeah, Pokemon got into the backline finally that time, and that's the difference in these fights. We see Whalers is trying to get the trade kill, can't do it as Rookie goes in aggressively and picks up that last kill. IG don't pick up the Baron, but with only a minute till Dragon's up, they need to go back, shop, get those wards around, get as much exclusive vision around this Dragon as possible, because they've cancelled out the Baron buff. Nobody's going to be wearing that buff. They've got the gold, but this 5th Dragon buff could be the turning point for Invictus Gaming.
Yeah, Pokemon going to run back to base and pick up whatever gold he can spend now as well. Poor Cacao, dead in the Baron pit for a short while. He'll be back soon, though, ready to secure that 5th Dragon for IG, which is just so crucial. Kitty's actually speeding along. Banner of Command has been completed by Jana.
I mean, the IG special, the Banner of Command right here. We know what potential the Banner of Command has for Invictus Gaming when we saw the world's tankiest siege minion poking down the base right there. A Kitty special, but a lot of fun in that item.
I think we honestly see this a lot as well, because Kid plays a lot of Sivir, and a lot of the IG comps seem to have trouble sieging towers effectively. So having the Baron buff help you is pretty good.
The Baron buffed siege minion with Banner of Command. We know the power there, Pastry
It's
Time.
very strong here. As Kitties will clean out the wards in the back of Dragon. LGD must contest this Dragon.
Imp's actually spending time taking down red buff. IG could freely DPS it down, but Kid is only just grouped. Will they actually be able to take this 5th Baron?
Well, this is very far away as well. And Dragon, it feels like Baron buff. It's going to go down quickly. Vi going to look for it, but Kid's going to get it. And IG are just going to explode now. Acorn in the backline going to get DPS down. Rookie just going in so aggressive. Cacao, Pokemon even running through as well. Imp is trying to cut, but he's got nowhere to go. Cacao goes in. There's the triple kill actually coming through for Rookie. Can he make it a quadra? Does do so there. And that's a 5-0-5 for IG.
Massive work by Azir on the scoreboard, but again, it's Pokemon all over the backline right there, activating that ultimate, and so tanky. You never let a Maokai get to 4 items, and if you do, you pay the price right here. The 5th Dragon buff comes in. This could be the finishing of the game.
I mean, there's so much damage here, and the death time is so long. IG just going to stroll through this base and destroy it. Rookie does an unbelievable amount of damage just with a rise on the top of the turrets. And Kid's no slouch either here with Blood Boil Nunu there as well. Invictus Gaming, one big fight, and they're going to take their first game in quite a while. And what a way to do it as well.
Just a massive win for Invictus Gaming right there, and a massive confidence booster for Pokemon after being so preyed upon the last series. Both Pokemon and Cacao stepping up and playing their roles. It wasn't the carry champions. It didn't even need to be the damage champions. It was just their excellent dragon control on point from Cacao that whole game. And then Pokemon, man, once he hit 4 items, never can kill that tree. We're going to see a replay coming out here just to get a feel for what was happening in that game. Probably going to be one of the late game team fights. We're 43 minutes in here. So we'll roll the tape. This is for the 5th Dragon buff. This is the last big fight right here. Imp took a long time to get grouped right here. He's finally grouped at this point, but they're able to freely DPS down. It actually goes to Sivir. The smite isn't enough right here, but you watch Pokemon in the backline right here. He's just running straight at Imp, and there's nothing he can do. He's doing respectable damage, but Cacao and Pokemon in the front line completely new to any sort of hopes that Imp might have in terms of mobility. Xerath basically gets exploded by Rookie at the end there. The quadra kill is massive, but you let a Maokai get the tankiness, and it gets big.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up just for now. Game 2 is coming up very quickly. Nope. Apologies. So as we move through again, apologies about that, of course. Good match there coming out, as we did see from IG. It's going to be very good for them to get a win. Pokemon played really well, actually. I think that was the surprising thing for me. I mean, the Rookie Nunu Azir combo was really awesome to watch. But for me, it's just Pokemon actually having a very strong game on Maokai.
There was a lot of snowball, though, Page Time. Like a lot of, I mean, again, this is a game with Nunu. I've got the terrible puns going all the time, but a lot of snowball came out in the mid-game just from smart decisions from Cacao. If you watch the previous series, Cacao was very behind against his jungle opponents the last 3 series they've played. This game, he picked the Nunu. He responded to all the threats from Vi. The wards went down, and Chuen literally, we hardly cast his name that game, except to point out that he really couldn't do anything in a fight.
Yeah, with that, we're going to go to an actual break this time around, but don't get anywhere. LGD versus IG Game 2 is coming right up.